my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super greed. Spend a lot of extra time waiting for the acolyte. I am gonna catch that fool. You will think I'm really cool. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super greed. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you, catch you, catch you. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super greed. Oh, but I need some more super greed. Oh, but I need some more super greed. Suck it. You're a scrawny little mouse taking over this old house, waiting for my chance to shine. I am gonna make you mine. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super greed. Spend a lot of extra time waiting for the acolyte. I am gonna catch that fool. You will think I'm really cool. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super greed. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you, catch you, catch you. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my...
Hello, MouseHunt. Welcome to Feedback Friday. Today is February 28, 2020. Hello to everyone in the chat. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you're watching in the world. Hello, Celine, KDM, Tarako, Swift, Robin. Hello, hello, Peter. Well, today I wanted to give everybody a heads up on the upcoming birthday event, kind of let you know what to expect. Because that will be coming next week as MouseHunt is getting ready to celebrate its 12th birthday, or the 12th anniversary of the game, depending on which terminology you prefer. I tend to go back and forth a little bit between using birthday and anniversary. Don't know what you prefer to use. But yeah, it's incredible to think about. Here we're 12 years down the road here. Did not think when we first started this game so long ago that we'd be here about to celebrate the 12th year of it. Chong says, good afternoon. Lawrence says, whoop, 12 years. And Ashley, whoop, happy 12th birthday, MouseHunt. Coming up, it was on March 7th, if I recall correctly. It should be the 7th is our birthday. I had the added benefit of being able to check when I signed up on my Hunter profile. Yeah, March 7th. All right. I'm lousy enough with dates to try and cram another one in the memory bank. And Toro says, crazy stuff. My first B-Day event was the Terrible Twos. Yeah, that's interesting thing about so long ago. That was when Parental made its appearance with the Nanny Bot. I think I remember another one that stands out is the third birthday because we added, if I recall correctly, 3 new kind of boss level mice. I think that's when we added the Sylph, the Dojo Sensei, and the Big Bat Burrows mouse as well. We kind of added 3 mice, I think over the course of maybe 3 weeks or over the course of a few days anyway. We kept adding a new mouse every week. It's kind of exciting too. We had a scoreboard up to see how many people have caught that mouse so far. It was a little bit of a kind of a fun competition or healthy competition to see who could put up the most catches in the shortest time. So it says parental does not exist. Yeah, at one point we will probably retire that, and it will fade away into the history books of MouseHunt trivia. Eileen says MouseHunt is almost a teenager. Hi, Dave. Hi, Ellen as well. I haven't thought about, or Eileen, sorry, I haven't thought about that either. But yeah, next year we'll be becoming a teenager. I guess the game will get very kind of difficult, little isolated, trying to rejecting authority, try to figure out who they're gonna be. Maybe I don't know. I still remember my dad took me to A&W and bought me a Teen Burger. I think when I was 13, and to this day I can still remember that. Jonathan says, I just missed the first birthday event, so my first birthday was also the Terrible Twos. So Joe, with the ambush trap shutters, says Swift, yeah, it was definitely a lot harder back when it was released to capture. Certainly a lot better tactical traps have come out. Salty says, I missed grabbing the hit grab horsey that first year and I regret it every day. Well, the irony, I hope you're not too salty about that. And with that horrible, horrible joke, I'll transition into being small. Small joke from small person, I guess. And I want to give everybody a heads up on the birthday event. So it's coming next week on Tuesday. Let me check a calendar because I am notorious with dates. Switch to the old week view. And March 3rd is the launch of the 12th birthday event. And our actual birthday will be on a weekend, it looks like. Yep, on Saturday, 7th falls on a Saturday. And it will run until March 24th. So that is 1, 2, 3 weeks of birthday celebration goodness. And just as last year, the Super Brief Factory will once again be opening up its doors to celebrate MouseHunt's anniversary. Vincent the Magnificent, you can expect him to be up to his old tricks of trying to steal all the shipments of Super Brie that are coming out. So we'll definitely need the help of hunters to defend, repair, and upgrade the factory, and earn some Super Brie Plus and some other rewards for your trouble as well. So I think we discussed this on some other Feedback Fridays as well because we're looking to get feedback from players. But we made a whole bunch of changes to the Super Brie Factory and how it works based on player feedback. So one that we did is that the reward crate no longer contains any Brie cheese. So from day one, it has all Super Brie Plus in it. The mixing room will add more Super Brie Plus to the reward crate than last year. So it's a little more generous. I think the last upgrade is 50 Super Brie you'll be able to claim every time you open the crate. Let me actually open up the birthday event document so I can see here. Although one of my tasks for this afternoon is when we're wrapping up a release, I always go through and I play through it one more time, and then I review it against the original document, and then I go and I update the document with any changes that came up during playtesting, and then kind of the other side of that is I look for anything that we may have missed to implement that was in the document, decide whether, well, are we cutting that or do we have time to squeeze that in? So where is it? Yes, the mixing room. So last year, a level 5 mixing room gave 25 cheese, and it would be Brie or Super Brie Plus, or a combination of the two. But this year it's just always Super Brie, and a level 5 will give you 50, so it's twice as good. The level 1, it goes 10 Super Brie, 20, 30, 40, up to 50. So you get 10 more Super Brie every time you upgrade that mixing room. And Michelle's pointing out that is the shirt design for the London. Yep, I swiped that. It made its way into the what we call the marketing asset package the art team puts together. They try to pick out some of the cooler looking art for the release, make sure they're all high resolution and transparent. Although that particular one, because it's a shirt design, is on a black background. But I noticed that in that little package, so I swiped that today. You only missed the snow barrage. Love the looks of that trap. Yeah, that's a good one too, with the snowman pelting people, or mice that is. And so it's going through some of the other changes here. The QA room. So now that converts a portion of the Super Brie Plus in the crate into empowered Super Brie. So last year you'd start off and the factory was producing just regular Brie, and by upgrading the QA room, you could turn the Brie into Super Brie Plus. So now we replace that with empowered Super Brie, so you'll be able to use that. That is Super Brie that has a power bonus to it. Similarly, we took out the magic essence in the crate, so that kind of tied in with the changes to the QA room and the mixing room. We put magic essence in the reward crate as a way of having basically some Super Brie that wasn't affected by the QA room, if that makes sense. So now with the QA room functioning differently, we didn't need that anymore, and so that's partly as well why the mixing room is more rewarding. It adds more cheese right off the bat, because that's kind of the 5 magic essences now just right in the crate as Super Brie. Rio says, lol, factory repair charms are legit spiking in the marketplace. Well, I guess that is appropriate because it is official now. We did mention it on some other Feedback Fridays. We're getting feedback on that. But yes, the break room will now add plus 10 pieces of cheese to the, or sorry, no, the, what am I talking about? The factory repair charms add plus 10 liters of cheese pumped progress every time you capture a mouse. And the cool part there is you don't even need Colby arms. So anytime you arm a factory repair charm and you capture a mouse at the Super Brie factory, the progress of pumping the cheese towards the reward crate will go plus 10 liters, which is quite significant at the start. And at the end, the max speed, I think it caps out at 40. So that'll make you move 50 every time you capture. So it's about a 20% bonus in how fast you can fill up the crate. And that was based on feedback where players, when they finished upgrading the whole factory, the charms were not all that useful. All they helped you do was get more factory parts, and they still do that. Or crowning the factory repair technician, because that was the only way to have a chance to attract it. But other than that, all these charms, you had nothing to do with them afterwards. So now they'll help you accelerate your pumping. You can claim more reward crates in a shorter time by using them. Michelle says screen quality is a little rubbish, Dave. Is it specifically the text? I did perhaps make that a bit small. And maybe not the greatest choice to put it on a mouse background there. My white text with a black outline isn't working too well here. Let's see what I can do. We'll get rid of the time thief. Maybe that'll help. I'll make this a little bigger too. My first mouse catch was March 7, 2009. We share a birthday, says Leah. Brian says, any rank restrictions to the bonus boss cheese from the break room going to be broken if anyone can skip entirely occasional just one diamond all onyx? No, it wasn't too potent, so we ended up not putting a title restriction on it in that way. Yeah, similar to Swift saying break room cheeses should require access to specific areas because it wasn't as nearly as generous as the golems, so we ended up not putting a title restriction on it. Jason asked, will Vincent the Magnificent still be around? Yes, so you can expect the same antagonist to make a return with Vincent. Actually, maybe I'll take a screenshot of the heads-up display. That would have been kind of cool to include as well. I'll load that up. I don't know where I am in my current game here. Hey, claim my day 2 loyalty chest. I was playing this yesterday. Oh, yeah, I'm not. I'll get a little bit of pumping progress here. Do I have Coggy Colby arm? No, I have Brie cheese armed. That's no good. There we go. So this will be good as well to refresh your memory if you're perhaps a little uncertain. I don't quite recall how it worked. Media file. Screenshot will be on my desktop. Yes, indeed. Cool. So that might refresh your memory about how the factory works. So you have the 4 rooms and the cheese fills through the pipes, and when it reaches the reward crate at the end, you get to claim the reward crate. Everything is blurry. It's all a bit blurry. Huh, that's interesting. I wonder if I adjusted my output. I haven't touched this. I am going to switch to new streaming software at one point when I have the time to learn new software. Output settings. Let me see. What am I streaming at? I don't think I can change it while I'm live, unfortunately. Oh, maybe I can. 720p. Our internet is a little bit better at the office. I remember I tried to stick to 720 when our internet was a little slower, but because we're in a really old building here, we recently got an upgrade, so it seems a lot more stable now. Jason says, I noticed last year if you passive hunt Vincent, there will be no rewards given. You'll still be able to claim the crate. So when you capture Vincent, the box way over there will change into a claim button, and you have to claim the reward crate before you can continue to pump cheese. So that is kind of one thing to be cognizant of if you're really close to Vincent and you're worried about maybe overnight a few hunts going by. You could switch over to regular cheese, farm Colby overnight, wake up in the morning, switch back to your Corgi and capture Vincent while you're there to see him capture him. But that said, it's fine. You go, you capture Vincent, and then the cheese is waiting to be claimed, and you just can't pump any more cheese until you claim the crate. Beth says, my YouTube didn't switch from the 144p, but once I hit 720p, it's fine. Okay, well, there you go. For some reason, maybe YouTube is selecting 144 as the video resolution rather than 720, so there should be a gear somewhere. I'm not quite sure what it looks like on YouTube itself, but if I'm blurry, that will probably help you out. Here, I'll watch myself, the dangers. Yeah, cool. It's a little gear in the bottom right, and quality. There you go, 720p. It autoed to 720p for me, so maybe the internet was being a little slow when I first streamed or something, and YouTube thought, well, we better output in lower quality. What other changes do we have here? Where's my list? Yeah, the last thing, I guess, was we've added super extreme and ultimate tiers of party charms. They can be purchased from the charm shop using your excess factory parts, so hopefully that's a much more compelling and interesting use for your excess factory parts. The ultimate party charms are quite powerful as well. They have a plus 30 luck bonus on them, making them the highest luck bonus in the game. That said, to sort of balance that out, they're also not tradable, so they can't be exchanged with other hunters via the marketplace or supply transfers. Similar to their spooky and snowball cousin charms, they have a chance when you hunt with a lower tier that the party gets out of control and the mouse will drop the next tier of party charm. Or while the factory is open, you can buy the tiers using excess parts. That's we kind of try to set it up in a way where if you start with just party charms and you actually put in the time to hunt with them and let them upgrade themselves, if I can use that terminology, that's how you'll end up with the most ultimate party charms. Just because the ultimate party charms in the charm shop itself are relatively expensive compared to a regular party charm. You can get the regular one still by smashing any single factory part. Will smash into a party charm. It's not blur anymore, says Swift. There you go. Maybe so it looks like the switch to 720 fixed it up. Swift says, how do the bonus cheeses work? Is it random from a pool of different cheeses? Yes. So as you upgrade the break room, there's level 1 through 5, and you start with level 1. And it will add 10 pieces of bonus cheese every time you upgrade every time you claim the reward crate, you get 10 pieces of cheese per level of break room. And upgrading the break room increases the quality. So actually here, maybe I can find a screenshot. A picture's worth 1,000 words, I think. Sometimes I ramble, and I think I definitely get up to 1,000 words, no problem. All right. So I got 27 hunts to go. I will do 50. I can claim the crate. And yes, I have a max level break room. So here we go. Looks good. So many balloons. I think Maxine painted the balloons. I think I saw that there. Giorgio suggested we need more balloons, and Maxine gladly obliged. Okay, so this is a bit of a large screenshot. So you can see here's the new interface that you'll see when or the summary that you get when you claim a reward crate. and I've maxed out my QA room and my mixing room. This is with all the upgrades actually. So I'm getting all 50 pieces of Super Brie Plus from my mixing room, and then my QA room has converted all 50 of them into Empowered. That's it. If you're not a fan of Empowered, that's it. You can sell it on the marketplace and then buy regular Super Brie and come out ahead, I would think. But it does smash into Magic Essence, so you could reconstitute it into regular Super Brie if for whatever reason you didn't want it. And you also didn't want to upgrade your QA room. That's another way to go about it, I suppose. But it is kind of universally better, I think. And these are the labels that we brainstorm for. You get mild, premium, medium strong, and epic. So the mild is all kind of low tier or lower level cheese. The premium is anything you can purchase from the premium shop. Anything you can buy with real world money is in that slot, I think, except Super Brie, because you already get Super Brie in the other slot. So that one rolled the Mackie string. The medium cheese is all kind of mid-tier cheese or mid-level cheese. So I rolled hot queso there. The strong is kind of a little higher level mid-tier cheese, so I rolled the runic string, and the epic slot are mostly boss cheeses or difficult to acquire cheese, and I landed on the Null Onyx Gorgonzola, which is actually pretty rare to show up, so I got kind of lucky. The very best says, will it be possible to trade old birthday event cheese for newer ones? No, but what we've done for Rewind Raclette, because it's the most recent one, you can hunt with it to collect Cupcake Colby, or Coggy Colby, sorry, and it has a really good drop rate of Coggy Colby. So you can't directly exchange it, but you can convert it with time into the new cheese at a greater rate than if you're even using Super Brie. I think so anyway. Let me load that up and double check. For sure it'll be better than Gouda. 12th birthday, yeah. Giorgio pointed out there was a typo. The spreadsheet, the file name, I spelled out the word 12th, but yeah, I spelled it elf. So that's just in source control now forever, that spelling mistake, and I don't want to rename the file. Loot drops, where are we at? No, it'd be under encounters. So collecting event Colby cheese, Rewind Raclette is, yeah, it is better than Gouda by more than 20%, but not quite as good as Super Brie. So Super Brie is still the best, but Rewind Raclette is a close second. How rare are the super good cheeses, though? No one will suddenly get 50 wildfire, right? No, that is quite rare. And in fact, we kind of like so many other things with the golems and everything, we try to work it out to kind of the metric we use is pieces per hunt. And we try to make sure that's no more than double or triple what you would get outside of an event. So, for example, let's say, just to make math easy, a piece of diamond cheese takes 100 hunts to produce, which I think it probably takes longer than 100 hunts, but off the top of my head, it'll say 100. Then every 100 hunts in the factory, you might then get a piece of diamond cheese. So it's sort of, you put in the same amount of time and effort, but we might make it slightly better. So every like 80 hunts, you get a piece of diamond cheese or something like that. So with that in mind, it's not really broken because we measure it by the same amount of time and effort that you have to put in to compare it to the other cheese. That said, being the nature of how events are usually set up, is it is a little bit of a loot bag effect, right? So if you get lucky and on your very first one you get it and you decide you're done, well, you came out ahead there for sure. But to kind of consistently build up a stockpile, kind of the deviation set, you'll fall in all the columns eventually. Is there any cheese that's even off the table for Epic? Well, they're all sort of higher level, kind of difficult to acquire cheeses. What kind of cheese is in the Epic one? Tier 8? Yes, Tier 8 is in there. I should have known better than to close my spreadsheet. I think I've got the final version here. That said, some of the more valuable ones are more rare than some of the less valuable ones, and by valuable, kind of measure that by the time it takes to normally obtain a piece of cheese, and then we try to keep that somewhat in line with how you earn it during the event, but with a little bit of a buff. Why can't I find? All right, break room bonus V3. We went through 3 versions of this. How many types of cheese are there? There are 15 different flavors of cheese you can find. Anything from flaming queso, Gallian Gouda, Lactrodectrus, Lancashire cheese, diamond, Lunaria camembert, But yeah, some of the ones that don't take as long to acquire, those ones are much more prevalent in the epic slot. So Dragonvine and Flaming are more common. Inferno Havarti is also quite common. Vengeful Vanilla Stilton. Lunaria Camembert is quite common. And then some of the more rare ones are Null Onyx Gorgonzola. There was only a 1 in 50 chance that I was able to do that. Galleon Gouda is quite rare. Wildfire is extremely rare. Diamond is very rare. Lactrodectrus Lanishire is rare. Gauntlet Tier 8 is quite low as well, although 7 isn't too bad. That's up there. And then slot 1 are things, either kind of lower level cheese or stuff that doesn't really take very long at all to acquire. Grilled cheese, cheddar cheese, Gauntlet Tier 2, 3, and 4. Ancient, Runic, Gumbo, Crunchy, Radioactive Blue. The premium, like I said, is anything you can purchase with real world money, like Mackie, Moon, Glowing Gruyere, Magical String, Mackie, String, Ancient String, Gauntlet String, Vanilla. Nope, I read into the next slot. The next slot, 3 here, things like Vanilla Stilton, Riftiago, Hot, Medium, Mild, Queso, Crescent Cheese, Rainy, Windy Cheese. The 4th slot are a little more difficult to get, like Master Fusion, Rift Combat, Glutter, Gemstone Cheese, Resonator Cheese. Any new traps this event? Yes, actually. Earlier I had above me a picture of a Queso factory trap, and actually that was the last little thing, or a couple other things I want to go over was with your golden tickets this year, you'll be able to purchase a few new things from the shop, and one is a Queso factory trap, and so it seemed like a nice thematic connection to make between pumping cheese at the Super Brie factory and pumping bland queso at Queso River. So there it is a law trap, and it has a special bonus where it produces bonus bland queso every so many hunts based on your pump level. So you can kind of, we're still firming up the description and how we want to kind of encapsulate it, although there's a little progress bar. Grab a screenshot of that as well. Do I have the trap? Probably not. I don't have enough golden tickets to buy the trap. Uh-oh. I will give myself the trap. But Andrew added a cool little progress bar they'll show you. Basically, after you've hunted enough, it'll just produce 500 bland queso. And there's a little progress bar in the trap selector that's filling. And the higher level your pump is in Queso River, the faster that progress bar fills. And let me see actually here. Spreadsheet, I minimized it. So at level 10, it moves 10 units every time you capture a mouse, and you need 100 units of progress. So that's every 10 hunts. You produce 500 extra bland queso, whereas at level 1, you're only moving 1. It takes 100 hunts. So basically 100 divided by your pump level, that's how many hunts it takes to produce 500 extra bland queso. Let me see here. All right, the Queso Factory trap. So that's one thing you can buy with the golden tickets. The other is last year's journal theme, I believe, is still for golden tickets, and we've added a new one to celebrate the extra tiers of party charms. And so there's some party hat, a journal theme wearing party hats. Queso Factory trap. Sorry, I'm adding. Is the 500 extra bland anywhere in the kingdom? No, you need to be hunting at the river. So every time you capture a mouse at the Queso River, you get progress towards earning the 500 bland queso factory. And now I'm going to travel the Queso River. And will each crate have 10 epic at level 5? Yes, that's correct. So as you can see from the screenshot there, at a level 5, basically each one of those boxes gets added as you level up the room. So if I had a level 1 break room, which is what you start with, I only would have got the mild slot, which was ancient cheese in the screenshot there. And when I get to level 2, it has the next one, 3, and so on. I can't use Coggy Colby at the river, so I will use Super Brie, sure. And there we go. Ooh. Computer's doing a lot of things. It's slow. There we go. Cool. So here I can show a screenshot of what Andrew threw together there. Or I think lovingly put together is better than threw together. Media file. There we go. So you can see in your trap selector, it'll show you, hey, I'm going to produce plus 500 bland queso when that bar fills. I did 2 hunts with a level 10 pump, so it's at 20%. Can you catch a mouse anywhere with it to work, or in the river? No, it has to be in the river. How much gold do we need for this event? Not a whole lot. In fact, one of the goals of the birthday event is to be a little bit more of, if I can use the term, relaxed event, but just kind of a nice chill event and an opportunity to earn some free Super Brie and celebrate the anniversary of the game. So it's not kind of meant, there aren't meant to be a lot of kind of, things that are going to be too difficult to accomplish. You certainly have more than enough time to finish the adventure, that sort of thing. And it's not meant to be anything kind of introducing super epic, awesome rewards. More of a, hey, hang out, chill out with the rest of the community, and earn some free Super Brie to celebrate the game's anniversary. That's kind of sort of our objective with the event. I'm going to go back to the factory though here, and I'm going to look through the shops. So the cheese shop sells all the regular cheese you'd expect, nothing too fancy there. The Trapsmith sells all the cake bases minus the banana cake base. Actually, that was one thing I wanted to go over as well, was that the adventure is going to reward a new birthday confetti cake base. That one's not limited edition, unlike last year's birthday banana cake base. Kind of reason being there is that originally we had planned that banana cake base to be the sort of finale of the cake base series, if you will. We weren't going to do cake bases any longer. And it seemed appropriate as well with its plus 11 luck bonus. That was sort of the plateau of how much of a luck bonus we wanted to give a very easy to acquire event base. And with that in mind, it was also made limited edition because it's a little more powerful than an event base should be. However, after kind of hearing feedback from other hunters who look forward to seeing kind of what whimsical cake base is going to come out next, and just kind of a little bit of joy that it brings to use such a absurd thing as a base, we kind of reversed paths, changed our minds there, and we are adding another cake base, but it will be plus 10 luck, so that it does not need to be limited edition, and certainly a very easy to get free plus 12 luck base would be a little bit too much. So kind of going forward, we think we want to continue the cake base tradition, but I think it'll plateau at the 10 luck. Whereas they were getting a luck bonus equal to the year that they celebrate, but by the time we get to year 15 and you're getting a free plus 15 luck base might be too much, so we'll cap it at 10. How about Ascended Cheese? I don't think Ascended Cheese is there. Brian says Nog is 2%, so you won't get it often. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that was kind of the approach we take. So it wasn't about kind of globs and globs of free, really hard to get cheese. It's kind of set up in a way where we were able to put a few, difficult to get cheese that still felt suitable for the epic slot, but by making those ones more abundant than the others or appear more often on the table, sort of normalized things where when we looked at, okay, how many hunts does it take on average to find the 10 wildfire, and is that not too far out of line with how long it would take if you spent that time at the Queso River Plains upgrading all the cheese that way, and it looked about in line. So that's kind of how we approach it to make sure it's nothing too crazy, but it's also kind of fun because you never know what you're going to get in the next crate. You might get lucky and you get the 2% drop back to back, and you sort of beat the odds there, and you come out as a kind of an exciting moment. But sort of as you keep, especially over the course of 3 weeks, as you keep claiming those crates, you'll kind of eventually average out because it'll be a large enough sample size. Jonathan says, I'll do the math later, but I'm guessing with those stats you'll get more bland with a stronger trap. No, you'll get a little bit more with the Queso Factory trap because the mice at the river are not particularly challenging. The exception is, I can't think of the name of it. I think it's Croquet in the name. That one's rather difficult to catch. But that one shows up more often with Gouda, so that one's more about the cheese you're using. So that might also play a role as well. But certainly things like the Sleepy Merchant is basically a guaranteed catch. And the rest of the mice there are not too strong. Max says, you ever consider base skins like instead of J base as well, instead of 10 different bases? That has kind of crossed our minds, something in the idea bank. I think on another Feedback Friday I was getting feedback on the idea of having or using in-game items as cosmetic overrides, and we just wanted to make sure we got that just right and it didn't get confusing with the trap skin system. So it seemed like there was some interest in that. That's something we're still looking into a bit. Kind of feels weird for lower ranks to get epic though. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from for sure, and hopefully we kind of hit the mark in terms of rarities there. But it's also kind of a limited time thing. I think the flip side of that as well is for the lower ranks, it also feels a little extra special because it's this opportunity to kind of get a stash of cheese for the adventures that lie ahead of you, and I think that provides a little bit of fun for the lower levels as well. But that's it. By trying to kind of keep it in line with the amount of time it would otherwise take to earn that cheese, is a kind of way to sort of distill that and make sure it's nothing too crazy. Jajam asks about Ninja Bread cheese. I think that was officially retconned when we overhauled the mountain. Dave, can we get an in-game spring egg hunt eggmaster checklist year-round so we have an easy way of preparing? I think you can use your excavator in your inventory at any time to see all the eggs in the game. I could be wrong. I am by no means an eggmaster. Let me see, excavator. So in your inventory, and you ping it, and yeah, you get a list of all the eggs in the game. There are 171. Hey, I'm at 158. I'm almost there. I'm sure the ones that I don't have are going to be exceptionally difficult. Well, that one's not too bad. Rift Plane. Oh, those aren't too bad. I could get those. All right. We'll try this year. What else we got? We got Rodentia. Oh, is that going to be a Shelder? Players asked for the Shelder egg until it was in the game and realized maybe we don't want a Shelder egg, but nevertheless, there it is. I don't know which one I'm missing here. I think I just found about, nope, there it is. Oh no, the Dreller egg. I don't want to get that. Burrows. The Crimson egg and the Barricade egg. Oh yeah, probably just didn't go back to the updated laboratory. I'm close. I might be able to do it other than that Dreller egg. That's the only one that I'm dreading. Whoa, the chat's flying as I tab back. Yeah, other hunters have my back there saying that you can check the excavator anytime. Nowadays, a newcomer hunter can slightly rank up so fast. That is somewhat intentional. So kind of, again, thinking about the game being out for 12 years now, and as we kind of continually add more content to it, the sort of total play time of the game, especially considering you only go on a hunt once every 15 minutes, starts to become something that's a little too long, at least for the sort of the canonical path or the main sort of progression path. It's nice to have those above and beyond side goals and objectives to add lots more hours of gameplay, but it's definitely an intentional thing that we try and do, is we try to compress where we can without diminishing accomplishments either. So it's kind of a fine balance game, and I think we rely on players as well to let us know when that's going well and when that's not going well. And so that's something we kind of take to heart with future decisions for sure. Even kind of hearing about a little bit of concern about the epic slot, and that'll definitely be a note that we keep in mind when we review how the birthday event went this year to make some decisions for next year. Was that a little bit too much? But that also serves as that little bit of kind of compression, because typically even newer players, they get a little bit more engaged in events, probably because it's something you can only do every now and then. It has a time window to it, and that usually kind of gets people's attention going a little bit more. But they'll be able to stockpile a little bit of cheese just slightly faster than they normally would be able to, so that when they arrive there, they can kind of catch up with some other players, at least in terms of areas unlocked, but not total sort of mice hunted and stats and all the equipment that they may have unlocked when they get there. And that kind of helps everyone can play together when they reach that sort of when they've unlocked all the areas in the game. It's a little easier to find people to hunt with, a little easier to engage with things like treasure maps. But definitely we try. It's a balancing act. Nugget egg next. I don't know, Brian. I don't know about that suggestion. It's the type of thing that it sounds cool. Like, yeah, give a really hard to get egg. But I think a hard to get egg, I don't know if I think the frustrating fact is when you can't influence your ability to find that egg. It becomes more frustrating than difficult. So if it was something more of a feat of like, hey, you have to go find all the, or you have to craft all these time-intensive things and then bring them all together to then accomplish some feat that you're not very likely to fail after you've done all this prep work. I think that invokes feelings of difficulty and accomplishment better than just park here, hope for the best, and you may not even see it in a 2-week time span. It could maybe be more frustrating than challenging. +1 to Dragon Slayer canon skins. Yeah, it might be getting to be time. What we did is the dev Param had built a tool to our a little in-game analytics suite. The password was changed, and I don't know the password. Nope, I need a password manager. Oh. Okay, that freaked me out. Helps if I have focus in the password field when I type a password. Alright, so I was going to see how many people have recently been using the Dragon Slayer canon. So this is nice, the art team, when we kind of come up with, okay, we want to add a skin or two with this release, so they can kind of go and look at, over any date range, what were the more popular traps that people were actively hunting with. And so, I don't know, I'll just go back a few months here and we'll sort by popularity. The time split dissonance is still in the lead due to the popularity of the Valor Rift. The Minorca, the Golem Guardian as well, just crushes it. Not that we could add a skin for that one. School of Sharks, Chrome Monster Bot, but the Dragon Slayer is, over the last few months, have been used by 0.8% of players, and on average they do 30 hunts a day with it, compared to the time split dissonance where 9.2% of players have used it, and on average they do 60 hunts a day with it. No thank you to nugget eggs, says Tarako. I'm on your side as well, so I will advocate for no nugget eggs, or basically no. Maybe 1 or 2 are okay, but I don't think it'd be too fun to have an excessive number of pure low drop chance or low encounter rate eggs. It gets to, especially due to the limited nature of the spring egg hunt, gets to be more frustrating than challenging, I think. Hi Dave, any special benefit from the cupcake charm this year from the birthday event? No, the only thing is the party charms. So kind of cupcake charms have been a little deprecated, I guess if you can call that, or they've sort of had their time with the cupcake events when that was sort of the focus of the birthday celebrations, and now party charms are having their time in the sunshine here, where they have the same 20% power bonus. I'm pretty sure that spooky charms and snowball charms have, but when you pair them with a birthday tag trap. And especially when you get up to the ultimate tier, they already have really good stats, and then you add a 20% bonus on top of that, and you're really cooking with gas. Jason says, I love the clicks of your keyboard, sir. All right, good to know. Jason says, I hope the Ultimate Iceberg base comes back again. I believe that was limited edition, although like we've done in the past, I think that's a good candidate to add it in-game somehow. I could see it being a cool reward maybe for capturing the Deep Mouse, or when you go a little above and beyond in the Iceberg, you can unlock a cool way of just kind of going through it in a lot more chill manner, or adding it maybe to where thematically appropriate to a higher level area. Jonathan says, a Zuriel egg that has a chance of containing the Bubbles bookend, please, and Zuriel as a library assignment at first. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if I'd want to rope in kind of the unique collectible into the egg hunt there when they already kind of have their own collectibles going. Brian says that 200 mil gold wall on the Dragon Slayer cannon. Yeah, it's definitely an elite piece of hunting equipment. Swift says, would love a generic Feroma Rift egg that maybe contains tokens. That's interesting. Brian says, we need an in-game tribal kaboom base. Yeah, it might be kind of a fun exercise one time. Go through all the limited edition traps and bases and equipment and kind of think, okay, which ones would be cool to slot into the game in a non-limited edition way. Actually, it's one thing we're kind of trying, we're open to feedback on, is the Queso Factory Trap is not limited edition, and just because it's such a strong thematic tie-in and something that'll probably be useful for years to come, we've made that non-limited edition, and kind of based on feedback, and we'll see how much players are using it, to which benefit we could see maybe next year adding upgrade modules or some sort of upgrade to it. We're kind of going to see how things go over the course of a year. Ashley says, so Party Charms with the Queso Factory Charp is maybe a cheap option for Queso River bland farming. Yeah, actually, that's a really good strategy because that'll really give it a healthy power bonus. It has a 30% attraction bonus on it as well. So if you're going to use Gouda in the river to farm your bland queso, that'll help out your attraction bonus. And then because it's a little underpowered, and when you use Gouda, the Croquet Crusher, I've remembered the name, the Croquet Crusher mouse comes around. That's quite difficult to capture mouse, especially using the Queso Factory Trap. Arming that Party Charm will give you a healthy power bonus, especially if you pair that with the Ember Stone base, which is useful in the river as well because it boosts pump production. That has a good luck bonus, and it's a pretty decent base as well. The Warden Slayer, yeah, that's kind of a neat. I just like the novelty of the Warden Slayer trap of seeing the power level go absolutely insane while there are wardens out. George says, I'm a longtime player, and I think LE items should be able to get brought back through new players every year. So, yeah, definitely if we were to kind of do it all again, we might approach that a little differently. But now being kind of intrinsically baked into the sort of lore of the game, I don't think we'd ever bring back LE items because we sort of established that. And it would be kind of, yeah, I guess thinking through years past, people knowing, okay, if I don't get this now, I can never get it. And then I think it'll create a little bit of a bad feeling if kind of reverse course on that, because that may have affected people's hunting decisions or their strategies in the past to make sure they get a specific thing because they know they won't be able to get it afterwards. But for sure, if we were to kind of do it all over again, if we were building MouseHunt for the first time in 2012, I'm sure there's a plethora of things we would approach differently, and I think that would be on the list of things we might do a little differently. Yudashira asks, any info from Ronza? Haven't heard any. She hasn't dropped a line yet. And Tora says, please make it so we can have both it and its upgrade then for collectors. Yeah, for sure. I think that's definitely something we like to do going forward based on feedback. When we upgrade a trap, we like to make sure that we do it in a way where the previous trap now is just maybe a requirement of the upgrade so you don't actually lose it. Actually, that's a good little segue to a change that was kind of done, when was it? I forget when it went live. It was probably a few weeks ago now on the Hunter profile. Most specifically affecting the weapons, bases, and collectibles, where you earn a check mark whether you have ever owned it, rather if you actually owned it. Kind of based on feedback, we're going to revert that change as part of the birthday update, so it'll go live when the birthday update hits. And you will have to actually own that thing in your inventory. But when I think it did, that change was it was done in someone's spare time with all the best intentions. But I think when we kind of sat down then and discussed it and went over feedback and got more opinions on it, I think the root of the problem is that those older traps, where it's just not a great design that you have to destroy your old trap to build the new one. It's not particularly fun, engaging, or doesn't feel very rewarding to have to do that and then go back and get this other really hard to get expensive trap. So you've probably noticed with new trap upgrades, we've avoided that design, and I think it's been better because of it. So I think what we would consider doing is going back when we have time and kind of smoothing out some of those traps where you have to destroy them as part of the upgrade process, and that would sort of nicely kind of fix that little bit of the collection issue without having to change how the display works on the Hunter profile page or add any complexities around do you own it or have you ever owned it. It just kind of felt a little loose. Froma Rift needs more eggs in general since it only has 2 exclusive eggs. Definitely Froma Rift is a very popular area, so as we kind of start making up our list of eggs, I think that would enter the discussion. Jonathan says, or tradable between players, which keeps them limited but still gives a chance of getting them. That is interesting. I think that has some kind of rough edges to that as well. I assume Jonathan in the chat is speaking about limited edition items becoming kind of tradable. There's maybe some of that in some of the charms and that are sort of hard to get, or you can only get them at certain times, but then you can trade them afterwards. Swift says, funny how you can still miss Wardens with the Warden Slayer. It's unlikely, but you can, yeah. And just being kind of an older area as well, now we have kind of the ability to better control catch rate, whereas the solution when the Warden Slayer was made was just give it as much power as we can reasonably do it to give you a 99.9% chance of catching the Wardens. Did I say 2012? I don't know. I might be in rambling territory because I don't remember what I was mentioning 2012 about. Max says, thank you for adding all the LE filter off the profile items page. For adding the LE filter off. I think that was always there. There's a little bit, again, kind of, as that rolled out, it was just kind of, it was kind of put together with best intentions in someone's spare time. So I think it didn't go through the same testing cycle that other things go through. And so some of the awkwardness you may have noticed is that the way it was calculating which were LE and whether to count that in the denominator, it was a little bit off. There was a few bugs with that. So basically we're kind of reverting all that. We fixed those bugs since, but we're going to revert the change. And to earn that check mark on your inventory, you need to actually own the items. Because it was certainly awkward for things like Zug's Wang's left sock. You could buy it and then immediately sell it on the marketplace again, and then your profile says you have it. It was a little bit weird. Not a little bit, actually, quite weird. Ben says incoming updates to my script. Alex says, woo, thanks, devs. So it seemed like that was, based on feedback, I don't think that was a very, or particularly welcome change. So I think it's good to kind of go back on that. Sid asks, will there be an LE Rift weapon again later this year? Missed the Great Winter Hunt, sadly. Yeah, I don't know. There hasn't been any plans fleshing out rewards for other events. The Spring Egg Hunt typically doesn't reward any traps, so I don't think there. You could keep your fingers crossed if Ronza discovered some Rift technology on her journey, but we'll see. Jonathan says, unfortunately, the checkmark doesn't work so well for tradable items like skins and collectibles. Yeah, exactly. I mean, so that was, and then we kind of put together some mock-ups and pitches. Well, what if it works like this for traps and bases, this for collectibles, and this for skins? And just, it got too confusing. It wasn't clear-cut. And just looking at it, there was almost a learning curve to look at whether you've collected all of something, which it should be a very simple concept. So, like I said, the conversation ended with, well, if we think it's awkward that, hey, I got to go and get the... trying to think of an example off the top of my head, but now I can't be put on the spot. But of a trap I had to destroy to build another trap, I guess the death bot to build the Sandstorm Monster bot. Now I got to go buy another death bot. Maybe we go back and we try to smooth that out, and there's a way to craft it, and you just need to own the death bot. You don't actually have to consume it, and there's still just a gold cost used in that crafting process. But anyway, that was kind of the result of that conversation, but no definite timeline on when or if we'll do that. Yudhishthira asks, any new skins for this year's birthday events? Yes, one new skin for the Celestial Dissonance trap, and I may as well, here I can share that as well, because it looks really cool. I believe Maxine illustrated it, if I recall correctly. Skins. Celestial. I like that word for some reason. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I just like the color. I don't know why I'm into purple as of late. Oh, I can't see the file name. That's not going to help me. Definitely need new streaming software. I can't even copy paste in this thing. The file name is birthday _ celestial. Forgive that there's no base there, but this will do the trick. It's just transparency where the base is supposed to be. Swift says, I think if you said we could start MouseHunt over again in 2012 instead of 2020. Okay, there we go. That must have been, I misspoke. I think I meant 2020. Although I am, that's consistent with my character of being absolutely horrible with dates. Jonal says, hope there will be another upcoming game, Ellie breaking trap again. Well, we'll see. Yudhishthira asks, will the birthday map return this year or just the regular one or gilded one? Yes, so they will be back. The birthday scroll case will be available at the cartographer, and the gilded maps will also be making a return. One change we made with the maps for the anniversary aura, so a regular map, I guess first of all, every time you claim a reward crate, it adds 1 day of anniversary aura. And with the maps, when you claim when you open up a regular birthday chest, it gives you 2 days of anniversary aura. We've increased it so that if it's dusted, so when you open up a rare birthday chest, it gives you 4 days. So the anniversary aura duration's doubled. And then we've done the same with the gilded. So kind of there was some awkwardness where the gilded chest gave you a 1 month lucky golden shield and 2 weeks of anniversary aura. So now if it's a rare chest, it will give you 4 weeks. of shield and 4 weeks of anniversary aura. So that's kind of smooths that out. Basically made the rare map dust double the anniversary aura duration. Alex has a whole lot of acronyms. Let's test out my knowledge here. The DVB to SWB to CSWB to DSC. The Dragonvine Ballista to the Shadow Rot Ballista to the Chrome Shadow Rot Ballista to the Dragon Shadow or the Dragon Slayer Cannon. I got them all. Yeah, actually, that one I almost feels a little different due to the sheer epic and convoluted nature of it. It was meant to be absolutely over the top and obscure as you're kind of helping the Trapsmith figure out this intense puzzle. But it's definitely a prime example, yeah. Space alien themed era. Well, that has been pitched a few times, a way to go to space and see if the moon is made of cheese. The nice thing about sort of the world of MouseHunt is there's a thread of commonality through everything, and this sort of post-medieval yet modern world where you can almost make anything work. There's computers, but they're very primitive computers, but they're computers. And yet there's knights with swords and stuff. But so I could see that, us being able to kind of make that work within the theme of the world without it feeling like a completely different game. So it says having Egyptian area and sand-tailed deserts, a bit of a missed opportunity. Yeah, maybe like pyramids. We try to avoid any kind of specific cultural areas, but kind of iconic landmarks and things like that could work well. Ned says, maybe do you need to add options to smash all unnecessary items and usual materials? I still have the mouse hot tub. You can sell it back to the shop for gold if you want. But other than that, you can kind of keep it as collected on your inventory. It's certainly been an idea we've kicked around for years, and we kind of jokingly, now we refer to it anytime we're exploring an idea that's like it, like, oh, like Garbage Island, and a way of taking all the existing stuff in your inventory that you have no use for and put it to use in an area to turn it into something that would be useful. Sort of the caveat being, whatever you're producing, what if that thing doesn't become useful over time? Then what are you doing? You have Garbage Island for your Garbage Island. But we've never kind of found just the right answer to that, so we won't. We try not to force an idea if it's just not there. Jonathan says the Slack is stupidly bad, full stop. That's why I have to save up to get the Slack too. Unfortunately, that's only slightly less stupidly bad. What is it? Definitely you're starting all over again with a fresh new power type, so it'll be like starting off for the first time where you have the tacky glue trap or something like that, and you're trying to capture mice. The one-day aura for the crate sounds a bit hard to build a decent amount of time for the aura, though. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, once you kind of fully upgrade the factory, you're cruising along quite a bit there to start stacking up the aura, but maps will definitely be beneficial for you to kind of help buff out the map or your aura duration time. And the event lends itself so well to maps that I think they're quite approachable for this event because you can hop around through the different rooms, capture all the mice, and then if you work with a friend and you kind of line up your Vincents, if you really want to try to min-max, or even if you're soloing the maps, by the time you get to Vincent, you might be able to fill out all the other mice, or at least half of them, capture Vincent, do the other half, start a new map, next Vincent, you might be able to get into a nice little flow. Quinn says, is birthday inspired skin for an existing trap? Ooh, and that's scrolling out of view. Allowed to take part in the competition as well. Oh yeah, actually, I completely forgot to bring up the art competition and the new merchandise store. So it is long overdue, but as we kind of been able to get a few more resources to help us out working on the game, we've launched a new merchandise store. So you can get to it from the in-game navigation through through Community. At the very top of the game, next to Help and Settings, under the Community drop-down is Hit Grab Merch Store, and it is, at the moment, primarily MouseHunt merchandise, although you can get, I think I saw, an Outworld Battleground sticker. But then to celebrate that as well, we're organizing an art contest, and actually I don't have the specifics. I don't want to be put on the spot and give you misinformation, so maybe I'll just take that back. And hopefully we can provide a little bit of clarity. Maybe a news post would also be beneficial. I thought one was supposed to go up, but maybe I was supposed to do that. Station says, any news on permanent content as well or not yet? Nothing yet. No, nothing to kind of share too much into the 2020 roadmap. We're still kind of prototyping, fleshing out ideas, but as the birthday winds down, that will kind of help give us some resources to start working on designs for another area. And we're approaching the hour mark. I better wrap things up. I just went, actually with the 5-minute intro, I just passed the hour, which usually denotes an extremely long feedback, well, not extremely long, but a lengthy feedback Friday. So we'll end with the trivia question. I don't have Giorgio here with me, and he likes the choir, so he's I guess maybe he's, I don't know, working or something. Who knows? But normally he's here for the choir. This week's trivia question, the answer is not 48. It has a bit of a birthday vibe. It is, what celebratory hat was introduced during the 2009 birthday event? The birthday hat is close, but Swift has the correct answer of party hat. And coming in hot behind him is Brian, Ryan, and John. The party hat is correct. The party hat was introduced in 2009, and it was how you created the party bot, which did stand as a really cool trap for quite some time. Reward link. Did I test this reward link? No, I didn't, but I did know it now. All right. Cool. 7 million ribs, and with the bonus of a billion sandblasted metal. I'll save hunters in the chat from stressing me out. Jonathan remembers the party bot used to beat the early shadow traps in the mausoleum, even though it was a physical trap. Could overcome that power type weakness. Thank you for the 34 confetti. It's a little better than 34 confetti, but hopefully it's not a billion shadow temporal shadow plates. Now we just need to add a hat on the chrome monster bot. I think it's the chrome. It has a skin I really like. The Christmas, no, maybe is it the regular? No, I think it's the chrome. Yeah, the Chris Chromo. I forget what the skin is called now, but it dresses up like Santa Claus. It's holding like a scepter, has a beard on, has a big like Santa coat. I like it. Sally Sue, Party Bot was my go-to for a long time, and it did reign supreme for quite some time. Much like the Magma base, I think that was sort of the go-to base for many, many years until it was finally dethroned. Swift says, yep, it's the chrome. A gazillion temporal shadow plates it is. All right, you got me. Party hat on the chrome monster bot would be great. Well, maybe we'll keep that in mind for future trap upgrades. Just put a party hat on everything. Because if it's a partying robot, it must be more powerful. Loved my Magma base, yeah. And I'm using that for quite some time. And now the Minotaur is kind of reigning supreme as the base being used the vast majority of the time. That would actually be interesting to check. We can see which weapons are being used regularly, but on which bases. I kind of like calling them weapons now. I don't know if that seems violent. Yeah, I guess you just have to ignore the fact that the Mouse Deathbot has a giant razor blade on it. But I guess it's so over the top, it doesn't seem. It's whimsical. It's hard to believe. It's too ridiculous to be considered even kind of violent. It's in that cartoon sort of Tom and Jerry world, but I guess that maybe the word on its own makes me think of more violent things. John says the Desert Heater base needs a buff, guys. I would say definitely not. I think hindsight, it could have ate a few more flame shards with every hunt. That said, kind of as the economy gets drained of flame shards, I think it'll kind of be more in line of where it's supposed to be. But certainly for the time being, the Desert Heater base is quite a nice base. Party hat gives the power bonus from Party Charms. Ooh, that's interesting, actually. It should. The way that works is we tag the trap as birthday, and then we can search all of our equipment by tag, which has also kind of led to some technical challenges. Let me see. I've been speaking for an hour straight, parched. That's a cold coffee now. The Party Bot. I love the surprise party trap too. This is the thumbnail of the droid holding the bat, kind of hiding behind a wall. Just every time I chuckle every time I see that. So physical power, birthday. Yep, it is tagged as birthday. So there you go. The Party Bot could have a very useful resurgent because armed with any party charm, it will receive a 20% power bonus. Sally remembers when the dehydration base was great for a long time. That was one of the first crafted bases as well, so kind of in the infancy of the game. Ganalis asked, are the stickers waterproof? I'd like to stick it to my hydro flask. I have no idea. I'll jot that down, and I'll run that by kind of the team that organized the merch store. Although I have no idea of how to let you know when I find out. Anniversary traps will reign supreme. Yeah, those anniversary traps are pretty good. I'm tempted. I'm in the sand crypts right now, and I'm tempted to pull out the anniversary Reaper's Perch and just park my scent charms and just hope every 10 hunts it goes off and I capture the king grub without having to salt it all. But part of me likes crowning all the mice there anyway, so I kind of, maybe after I get gold crown for all the mice, I would kind of do that and go into cruise control. Brian says, we can't sort traps by event on our camp. It would help when you use spooky snowballs or party charms. I thought we added that to the drop down. Let me double check. No, you certainly can't. That would certainly be a good feature. Yeah, you can. All right, I'll jot that down because as these kind of come in, could use a birthday, Halloween, grape hunt bonuses. Are there any plans on putting back parental type traps? Probably not. If anything, we might shift it to be a different power type and kind of retire the parental idea. But we could go the other direction maybe, and if we do ever make an area that has all the power types, that could be some very little Easter egg to find. There's a parental section to unlock and find an upgraded parental trap, but I don't know. I don't know if it would, it might be funny the first time, and then after that, not really, it might fall flat, so I don't know. Go warm up that coffee. No, I usually just chug the cold coffee at that point. Ganel says, I'm anniversary Nannybot trap on Discord. You will be a limited edition item then. Swift says, parental doesn't exist. It has never existed. What is parental? Mausoleum Rift versus the Burrow Rift. 1 bill points reached. Congratulations. Bases are able to be sorted by locations events, though. Probably forgot to add it to weapons. Interesting. So that's neat. Let me go check that out. That will make it easier to add, I would imagine. I can't say with certainty. I just instantly click weapon. Yeah, there, look at that. I guess because bases don't have power types, and so that drop down was used for power types instead of tags. Yeah, that's been a little cumbersome. It could use a whole technical overhaul. The whole kind of tagging system came to be over during mobile app development to come up with a system for doing trap recommendations. We could tag an area as something, and then we could tag the trap as something, and then it would say, oh, cool, you're in this area. All the equipment associated with that area. So it was being used to build relationships between things, and now it's kind of also being used just to sort of identify things and like label them, which is actually a lot more intuitive for something called a tag. So that kind of needs a bit of an overhaul as well. But yeah, I'll jot that down because this is the third type of charm that has a specific bonus. It would be nice to be able to quickly filter in game and choose which one you want to arm rather than having to check the wiki and go about that whole route. Ryan says, thanks for the feedback Friday tonight and hope you have a happy weekend too. Take care. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for joining me, Ryan. I'm going to try and wrap things up shortly as well. Gene says, parental. Capture the terrible twos. Then I thought, yeah, I think the original concern was it was a very childlike mouse, the terrible twos, but it also felt like kind of a fun theme for the second birthday. But it made us a little, I don't know, a little uncomfortable that there's a kind of a child mouse that we were capturing with traps that are sometimes over the top whimsical in terms of how they capture the mouse. So to kind of ease our conscience a little bit there, the idea of parental was born, but I think it proved that there's kind of a disassociation there of because everything's so over the top, it doesn't carry the same sort of weight on your conscience, I guess, because it's kind of like I said, Tom and Jerry, like dropping an anvil on someone's head, but then they're fine afterwards, sort of thing. You suspend your disbelief. Swift says, will the winners of the art competition have their art be in game? The plan, as I understand it, is just to announce a winner. So it isn't to put the art in the game. That said, who knows? Depending on the final piece, there might be inspiration to be drawn from there. Also, we would need their consent to use their design and their idea. But as of right now, the plan is just to announce a winner, and they'll win a prize, but their art won't go into the game. When's Tribal Isles Rift coming out? No plans. It'd be a big one, though. What is this year anniversary trap? No anniversary traps this year. That was something kind of extra special to celebrate the decade milestone for the MouseHunt 10th anniversary, but none planned for the 12th. Jason says, keep safe, mouse hunters. Coronavirus is dangerous. Yeah. Stay safe out there. Wash your hands is my biggest advice I can have for you. So when you're going places, make sure before you eat, wash your hands. Can you do a quick public service announcement as part of Feedback Friday as we wrap things up here? Page 9 for the Codex of Valor, 500% parental power bonus. Yeah, he sounds very useful, Brian. See, Swift, I don't even want to repeat what you put in the chat there, but exactly, yeah, those ideas came to mind, and it was a little uncomfortable for us, so we'd rather give the mouse a timeout than actually capture and hunt. Valentine's event was a lot of useless. Can you try harder or just skip it in the future? Oh, well, sorry that you felt that way. For sure, we had some kind of plans of how to ramp up the reward structure a little bit, but definitely it was the type of thing you could kind of basically ignore it if you didn't want to take part, for sure, because it was kind of spread out through every area in the game equally. Birthday traps. Is this every trap that has been released during the birthday events over the years? Yes. So hopefully, we are human, we try our best here, but I think we have tagged all the items that have been released where they are either a reward for a birthday event or they are themed to birthday/game anniversary, however you want to phrase it. So yeah, by all means, if we missed one, let us know. You can pipe up on Feedback Friday or drop us a support ticket as a bug report, but hopefully we found them all. For wiki purposes, yes. So that is the intention, that the party charms will have their bonus with any birthday-themed trap, which is probably a direct correlation with all the traps that we have released as part of a birthday, but not skins. So if you take a regular trap and you put a birthday skin on, I don't think that gives you the bonus. It has to actually be a birthday trap. Yeah, Alex liked the Valentine event. For sure. I mean, that's kind of grain of salt. We try our best to create something that everyone will enjoy. But inevitably, there'll be some things players enjoy, some that don't, and some just nature of some areas or some kind of gameplay is sometimes it's polarizing, where some people love it and other people hate it. So our goal, the nice thing with the whole plethora of areas and themes in the game, that we can hopefully put a little something in the game for everybody. Will Whisker Woods be overhauled this year? No, actually, so we're in a bit of a tough spot here, where it's the equivalent of Game Maker's writer's block, I think. So I think on a previous Feedback Friday, I mentioned how we had a whole Discord channel up, and we were getting lots of ideas from players, and then we summarized all those ideas. We're doing a little bit more brainstorming as well. Actually, just today, I think we're going to play test a prototype this afternoon as well for some new area ideas. So once we kind of find the idea that works well, maybe we're a little bit perfectionist, or we don't want to do something for the sake of doing it. We want it to be kind of a good fit for the game. But once we kind of find that thing and get running, we're very effective and very productive and sort of ramping up our development pipeline. But we're kind of still playing around and just trying to find that right idea. Gregory says, can we get an official list of birthday traps? I did jot down through, I think Brian suggested a way of in-game of looking at all the traps sorted by birthday, or similarly for Great Winter Hunt and that. So I'll take that back. We can put that up in the, put that into the backlog. I don't think it would be too hard, but I can't make any promises. I know Andrew has a little spare time on his hands right now. Actually, he's been fixing up a few things here and there, so that might be a good little pet project for him as well, as typically he looks after the front end of the browser game. Swift says, can we still send in new ideas? By all means, yeah, absolutely. Quite often, I spend my lunch break, as I'm kind of munching away, I like to browse the ideas and suggestions section of the forums. I know kind of first thing that came to mind was the fungal cavern And Zocor was inspired actually by a thread in there, and it was, often it's not verbatim what is there, but that's also kind of sows the seeds of inspiration. So, okay, as my diaphragm here is getting sore from the sheer quantity of speaking at which I am doing as I'm getting more and more out of breath from speaking for an hour straight, I will finally wrap things up. So thank you so much for joining me, hunters. Have yourself a great weekend, or whatever time comes shortly thereafter you watching this, if you're watching it recorded. Yeah, keep an eye open for the birthday event. Is coming on Tuesday, March. I have no idea what the date is next Tuesday, but the first Tuesday of March. Keep your eyes open for the birthday event, and it will run for 3 weeks. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you in 2 weeks' time for sure. It'll be Jacob next week, as I have some morning meetings next Friday, so it will be Jacob unless he's unavailable, and then unfortunately there wouldn't be a Feedback Friday, but the plan is Jacob will join you for an art stream next week. And I can never find my outro slide. There we go. 3rd of March. I don't know. I think you're tricking me. Brian. Okay, it's the 3rd. All right. I thought you were going to try to pull a fast one. Yep, looking at the calendar, yes. So March 3, that is Tuesday. The birthday event will come. So thanks for joining me, hunters. Happy hunting.
Such a beautiful you. You're the master of the mausoleum. Look at me, barely at level 3. I am begging for a piece of gold. All the mice, all the terrible mice that you naturally attract to you. I wait with the trap and the bait, and they ain't biting. I'm waiting on a mouse today. Anyhow, we'll be just fine. I may not be a hero, babe, but I'm willing to give it a try. I'll lay my trap by yours, and you will be my skull, and I won't care. Such a beautiful you. I am caught up in the crazy game. Look at me, barely at level 3. I just know I'll never be the same. All the mice, all the terrible mice. If I had my way, I'd catch a ton. I wait with a trap and a bait, but they ain't biting on a